Okay.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to this special session of the Nevada State Independent Living Council. Thank you for making time in your busy schedule. Dorothy, is everything posted?
I did double check and everything is verified and posted correctly.
Can you take a look
I will do that. Julie Weisman Steinbach,
here?
Evander Davis,
Here.
Ace Patrick, Sabra McWhirter,
Here.
Kate Osty, Renee Portnell,
I'm here.
Linda Voivoda,
Here.
Mary Evilsizer,
Here.
Obioma Officer. Actually, Obioma is excused today. She did notify me. Jennifer Kane,
I'm here.
Victoria Esner,
Present.
Cheyenne Pasquale, and we do have quorum.
I'm good. Is there any public comment?
Cindy Swans. Oh, I'm sorry. You can see. Sorry, Julie.
The audio now unmuted.
Cindy Swanson.
Thank you very much. A lot has happened since last we got together, and this is some information I need to let as many people know as possible and communicate this in as many opportunities as I can. And actually, the issues I'm going to discuss in hopefully the next 3 minutes actually tie into the letter that we're talking about. The number one thing that I want to mention is I have been honored to be placed on the Olmsted
DD4 Master has joined the meeting.
Advisory Group and representing Commission Serving Persons with Disabilities. And I was pretty shocked that something this important did not have anybody representing education, either regular public education or higher education, and there's nobody there from VR. And I don't know how the state can actually say that this is a good idea to just have a small representation in that. So that's pretty disappointing, and I think you all need to know that. The other thing I want to talk about, and I'm hoping that as I go back and forth on my memo, it doesn't come out to you because my computer talks to me, so we're just going to have to deal with that. But earlier this week, no, last week, my husband was going through our son's Social Security portal, and Adam is a young man with Down syndrome. He is dually eligible for both Medicare and Medicaid, and he is now totally on SSDI, and that's pretty much a kerfuffle also. But this is the thing that I want to discuss with you folks, that you need to know this. And the communication that we need to have with all of our agencies. This is, we found out last week that Social Security was withholding money from his Social Security for Medicare. Now, you all know that under certain circumstances, people who are dually eligible, who are restricted by income, Medicaid is supposed to pay for that. And when we finally talked to a Medicaid lady in, I guess it was Henderson, she was very nice. That needs to be very clear. The lady was very nice. And she said, oh yes, there was a glitch. And she said, 18,000 people have been affected by this. And I said, oh, that's not a glitch, that's a catastrophe. Because if you're on SSDI, you're not getting a lot of money. And then all of a sudden, $160 a month is being withheld from your amount. And she said, we will work on it and we will take care of it. In the meantime, I've talked to quite a few people, Dawn's once, many of you have gotten my missive about this. And one of the leaders did drill into with welfare, and apparently they're going to stop withdrawing money from Adams SSDI. However, they got to pay them back 3 months because that's how much they have taken out of it. There's a lot of questions about this, and if Wendy is taking notes, Wendy, I'm going to send you this list of questions so you don't have to feverishly write down all these comments. But this is to the leaders of the agencies. I guess Cheyenne's not on the call right now, but whoever is, I did hear back from Jessica Adams, and she was going to look into it. But I just want to state these questions. Yeah, shoot. Sorry about that.
Task switching to move to an item, press the arrow key. Zoom meeting.
I'm making
This meeting is being questions for SILC and
okay, here we go.
Question home. Blank. 1. What is the glitch in the system?
What actually is the glitch in the system that has caused this?
For recipients. 2. What needs to take place?
What needs to take place to correct
3.
this?
How long until the glitch is
How long
resolved?
until the glitch is resolved?
4. Why was this information?
Why was
provided
this
to the state providers,
information
but not to the
provided to providers? Because I do know Opportunity Village and Dungarvan were made aware of it, but for consumers, it's a big surprise.
council? 5. Was this information provided to the individuals that this affects? This
the-
could very well be a
The individuals are not being notified. My son did not get a notice. He is his own guardian, as his rep payee. We didn't get a notice. If we didn't call Medicaid in Henderson, I don't know how long this would have gone on.
significant impact for a
It's
person
going to
living
have a
on SSDI
significant
with the
impact
current
living
costs that are still rising.
on just their SSDI.
6. What is the plan to support those
What is
individuals
the
if they are short for their
plan?
monthly
And
expenses?
this is my next big concern. What is the plan? Now that whoever made the mistake, I don't care who made the mistake, if it was Medicaid or Social Security, but as of now, our son is out of nearly $600 because they've been taking this money away from him since October, November, and December. Guess what? That's a lot of money for a man who is living off of just Social Security disability. And if it's true what the Medicaid office lady said, 18,000 people are affected. This is not a glitch. It's a catastrophe. And the fact that this is news to a lot of folks in the industry, in the disability business, that is unconscionable. And I would like to say, well, here, you folks messed it up. Can you please pay back my son now for the glitch that you made? A glitch would be $1, $5, maybe $10, but not over almost $600. So that's what I have to say about that. If anybody's timing me, how much time do I have left?
You're there. You're at the time.
I'm out of time?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And Wendy, I don't know if you heard this before, but all the questions I had, I'm going to send them to you in an email so your minutes can reflect that. Thank you.
Okay, John.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is John Roseland for the record with the Nevada Assistive Technology Collaborative and Aging Disability Services. I just wanted to reach out. This isn't regarding this meeting, but thought this would be an opportunity to give a shout out that through what was called the Governor's Fiscal Recovery Funds, which was some of the funding that we see going out into some projects right now. You've probably seen some bits and pieces of this or heard it mentioned. There was some monies that were requested through this process to work towards eliminating the independent living program, state assisted technology for independent living program wait list. And that number was kind of thrown out there. I know a lot of people saw that when it was going forward for approval, and the assumption by many people, including myself initially, was that all of those funds were going to eliminate the wait list. That's not necessarily the case. If you're part of the RAT council meeting, I addressed this a little bit. All of that aside, the portion that's going to be determined for the elimination of the wait list will be decided by ADSD. I don't know what that number is myself. I oversee the program and work with community partners implementing it, but we should know that as it goes forward. Some information got back to me from the leadership in ADSD that a portion of those funds will be used for what they're terming as a blind services pilot program. So the AT for Independent Living program has always had this capability of being a place to jump out a pilot program. There's a lot going on in the lack of services for individuals that are blind. They're kind of in that in-between period of you have the visual disability, and then how do you get to this next point without some of the services that no longer exist? And I don't want to get into those in this public comment. My whole point is to say, I want to reach out to consumers that have been affected by this as we go forward with trying to build this pilot program and really try to get some information from the people that are affected by these services. My thing is always not to jump to directors, organization, agency heads, but the people that are affected by these services and who have missed out, that's who we want to hear from, or that I want to hear from. So going forward with this, people, please reach out to me. I'll get my information. Dom has it already. If you can send it out to the SILC and all of the people, I'll put it in the chat. People reach out to me that have who have visual impairments or have experienced this or have connections to them. Please have people reach out to me, because as this moves forward, I want to try to establish and create platforms. Perhaps the SILC would want to be a partner in collecting some information. There's a bigger fish here to go after, and that is to really nail down the services that have been eliminated since a portion of those were removed from heater and VR many years ago. So let's use this as that opportunity, and please reach out to me and let's figure out what we can do to start this process going. I do need to report back to the agency leadership the plan going forward, but let's start out by getting people together and having this discussion. Thank you, and I will click off. Thank you.
Peter,
Hi, good morning to you, Julie. My name is Peter Whittingham. I am the board chair for the Down Syndrome Organization of Southern Nevada. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to SILC, the team of SILC, and a special thank you to Julie for attending and supporting our Buddy Walk event, which was held on October 16th here in Las Vegas. We had over 1,000 people there, Julie, and you and your team played a great role as part of the resource fair. Thanks also for the support from your team members and your executive director, Don, for the donation that was made towards the event as well. I see us as part of your extended collaboration with local agencies who serve our members, and I really appreciate it. I just want to make sure I record that appreciation on behalf of the board and our members for the public attention. As John was speaking as well, I also want to just give a shout out and appreciation to the assisted living team, especially locally LAMPS. We are having a public awareness event on Saturday, making available the resources of this department to our members. And the reason why all this is happening is because of our association with SILC. And I just want to make sure you know, and everybody knows, how much the members of the Down Syndrome Organization really appreciate this collaborative partnership. Thank you much.
thank you. Yeah, it was a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And also, for being there as well. And is there any other public comment? I don't see any other hands. Okay. Dawn, can you talk about the letter?
Yes, so hi, this is Dawn Lyons. Our one and only agenda item other than our regular public comment items and regular open meeting law stuff that we have to do. And the reason why this meeting was called was because we received the letter from a response from the director in response to our letter to the director from back in, that was in, oh, I had it up somewhere, hold on. So no, that was the letter we received. Well, anyway, we received a letter from the director about the letter we had sent regarding aging and disability services and some of the issues that we had with the public health workforce money.
Join the meeting.
And Ace at the time, Ace Patrick said that she felt like he didn't address all of the issues in the response. Hopefully all of you have had a chance to read that response. And I've written a draft that I hope you all have also read so that I can get some feedback from you and some ideas as if you think it's a good letter, if you think that's what we would like to say. Although I really wish Ace was here so I could get her specific feedback, because it was her public comment at the last meeting that she wanted to have this as an agenda item because she didn't feel like all of her concerns were addressed. But I trust that you knew where she was coming from because you all voted on the letter to begin with. So if anyone, I did receive some feedback on a personal level. I know Cody, you sent me a suggested change to the letter. That suggested change was that Cody sent me was to change the sentence that says, quote, the SILC is the only
everyone. Email contact for John Rosen.
The SILC is the only council that is made up of a majority of people with disabilities and therefore is technically the only qualified council to provide feedback and receive these reports in order for us to create an effective state plan for independent living as mandated federally, unquote. He said that it would probably be good to change it to something like, quote, the SILC is a council that is made up of a majority of people with disabilities and therefore is uniquely qualified to provide feedback and receive these reports in order for us to create an effective state plan for independent living as mandated federally, unquote. And I tend to agree with his suggested change after Cheyenne, who is also not here right now, on a personal level, reached out to me about that one sentence and said that sounds like we're excluding everyone else from that qualification. And so I thought that was a good way to change it. But I'd like you all to
everyone. I don't get a vote, but I agree.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Are there any other comments or suggestions before I ask for a motion?
I like Cody's change.
Evander Davis, for the record, I think that is a great change. We don't want to come off too cocky.
Dawn, I didn't get a chance to read that letter. Is it pretty long?
It's not. It's
Good.
one page. Does anyone
Good.
want me to read the letter?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, if you could read the letter. That would be great.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that right now. Other than the headers on the letter, it says, Dear Mr. Whitley, thank you for responding to our letter of concern regarding ADSD's handling of federal public federal funding for public health workforce that was supposed to come through Title VII Part B. We appreciate the opportunity to discuss our concerns with Administrator Schmidt. We do understand the loss of funding was not intentional and that leadership discussed corrective action for future funding opportunities, although it is still unclear what assurances are in place to prevent it from happening again. The idea that it was discussed is encouraging, at least. During our discussion with Ms. Schmidt, several other concerns of ours were expressed, including the concern about disability services diminishing with the merging of Disability Services Unit into the Planning, Advocacy, and Community Services Unit. When Ms. Schmidt asked what could be done to ensure improved communication moving forward, the response was a resounding, quote, "nothing about us without us," unquote, and to please ensure that people with disabilities are consulted when planning new services or changing existing services for people with disabilities. As you may be aware, this is specifically defined in NRS 427.040 and further clarifies the agency shall report on the progress of their strategic plan annually. The SILC is a council that is made up of a majority of people with disabilities and therefore is uniquely qualified to provide feedback and receive these reports in order for us to create an effective state plan for independent living as mandated federally. Although this concern was not specifically addressed in your response to our initial letter, we are optimistic that ADSD will begin to follow the above mentioned NRS based on additional concerns we expressed to Administrator Schmidt. We hope that you will continue to monitor this as well and deeply appreciate the time you took to address our concerns. Respectfully, the Nevada Statewide Independent Living Council.
I think that letter is very politically correct. But I do think that we really need to be included in a lot of the decisions that are being made and or ignored. My concern mainly is that the disability community has just been forgotten. And Aging Services has gone on to provide lots of and pay attention to lots of needs of the senior population, but have completely and totally ignored the disability community. And that's my major concern, because just like they swooped in and again picked up all of our transportation monies, which will be funneled to people 60 and older, and not even a second thought of people with disabilities, who most of them have less income than the seniors and don't even have a way to buy a bus pass with the costs of rent and food. And that wasn't even brought into consideration with the transportation board. They just swooped in and took all the money. And I do have a lot of concerns that we are getting left in the back of the classroom, to say the least. Thank you.
Mary. Mary, do you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you, Julie. I appreciate it. I think the letter looks fine. I just am wondering, I didn't get a chance to go back and compare this letter to the original letter. And I was wondering, on the paragraph, during our discussion with Ms. Schmidt, several of our concerns of ours were expressed, including the concern about disability services diminishing the merging of the disability services unit into the planning, advocacy, and community services unit. In the original letter, did we place that statement or was it an open dialogue? My recommendation was going to be, if it wasn't expressly in the first letter, this is really an important issue and might warrant opening up a dialogue if this is the express or the primary issue, because not going back to the first letter, it looks like it's something that was discussed just when you met regarding the original issue about the state not applying for Title VII Part B funding. And then Cody, that was a really good recommendation on that one particular sentence. Just food for thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy, you're next.
Alt Y.
Cindy, did you mean to still have your hand up?
No. Sorry.
Okay.
This is Cindy, do you need to mute yourself or would you like me to help you with that?
I'll do it. I'll try.
Alt
Okay.
upper ribbon tab expanded, home tab, alt followed by H. Alt.
Dawn, go ahead and mute me. It's not working.
Okay. This is Dawn Lyons. Mary, to address your concern, originally when I checked the posting, we had an accessible copy of the director's original letter to us posted on the materials. I don't see it at this time, so I'm not sure where that went or why it disappeared. I know Wendy's having some technical issues, so perhaps she accidentally deleted it. I'm not sure. But in the original letter, since I can't access it right now to tell you exactly where it did address that, I can say it did. And I will make sure that we have that letter posted, because this was what ACE was actually giving public comment about at the last meeting. So even in our minutes from the last meeting, you could probably review that to, even though they're just draft minutes, they should be posted, and you could review that to see where I had read aloud the actual letter from the director and where that would address that. I apologize for not being able to access it right now, but I can assure you it was in the letter. And it is important. And that's why we wanted to make sure we were responding to, at least the ACE who had the complaint, wanted to make sure that we were responding in a timely manner to the response to the SILC. However, we wanted to make sure that that door remained open so that he knows that we don't feel it's necessarily resolved yet, and that, issues still may come up. And that's why we're asking him to monitor the situation as well. And that allows us to possibly write another letter down the line to him if something else does come up or if issues aren't resolved in a satisfactory way. Does that answer your question, Mary?
It does. I have a copy of the letter, and I was looking and comparing the two, and there is a point here where it says, as federal funding for ADSD services are critically needed in Nevada, for me opening up the communication. So that's what they were addressing, the communication regarding state plan funding issues, if I'm interpreting it correctly. In the response, it identifies NRS 427.040 and ask that individuals with disabilities in the disability community remain open in communication. So I'm comparing those 2 points and seeing that what you're saying is addressing the previous point, I guess. Thank you, John.
Are there any other comments or concerns?
Sorry, this is Dawn Lyons. I'm struggling with the chat right now, and I heard half of what you were saying, Mary, at the same time. I'm trying, I guess I'm just trying to do too many things at once, but I'm still having trouble accessing the letter. Sorry, Catherine, I can't open your attachment. But I appreciate you trying. I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve the letter with the change that Cody suggested and the time and date stamp at the bottom to be.
Evander Davis, for the record, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this letter with the changes that Cody put in it to be sent to the appropriate people.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
This is Saber McWhorter. I second.
Good. Amanda made the motion. And Saber second. Do we have any more discussion? All in favor indicate by say aye. Or raise your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. So Dawn, can you send the letter out with the change?
This is Dawn Lyons. I will send the letter out with the changes as long as we're verified that it was unanimously approved. Did we have anyone who opposed?
Not that I saw. Was anybody opposed? No. It was unanimous.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I will get that sent out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawn. Now, do we have any public comment?
Evander Davis, for the record, we would like to, as a SILC, we'd like to thank you guys all for coming in on this day, even though, you know, it wasn't a really scheduled, it was a special meeting, and we really appreciate you guys coming in, jumping in, and so we can take care of this situation and keep the SILC moving forward and doing all the advocacy work and everything that we can do to make things better for persons with disabilities.
Thank you.
This is Dawn Lyons. I'd like to second Evander's appreciation to this group. And thank you for those of you who attended and you're not regular SILC members, and for your public comments. I appreciate all your information and your assistance with what we're trying to do here. So John, I'll probably talk to you later. You had your hand up, John, before. Oh, I see it now. Okay.
John Roseland, for the record. I was just going to clarify early on when the discussion was happening, if discussion was open for everyone. I put my hand down because you guys were all doing such a good job. My public comment is just that hats off to the SILC for taking on this issue. The nothing about us without us, more than a slogan, is something that is very near and dear to me. I brought it up at our conference with the SILC. It truly is more than a statement and what we carry around and say. If we're if organizations are not at the table and providing this information to the Nevada SILC, then who are they and why are they not providing it is always the question, right? It's supposed to be at the front of the table. That's why there's designated state entities that are partners with things like the SILC. As you know, I've been involved with the SILC and independent living for 20 years. And I just commend the group for taking it to task. It's not always easy to be involved in something where you're bringing up negative feedback or you're definitely kind of putting somebody on the spot. When the AT Council did the Assistive Technology Council did this letter to the governor for the inaccessibility of websites, it causes quite a stir. But you have to stay vigilant. You're here to speak up, and you're here to hold people accountable for those things. So, all of that to say, I commend the SILC for taking those steps. These things aren't negative. These are just calling out the things that need to be called out, because everybody should be given the respect to provide the information and be part of the decision making. Also, a shout to Cindy Swanson for bringing that issue forward. My understanding is this is another issue. We're bringing that issue out into the open through the Nevada SILC or the CSPD or these avenues. Why is that information not being carried forward to the people with disabilities? It's not appropriate and it's not right that they find out about this information after the fact, whether it be a glitch in the system or something was messed up. Give people the dang respect to respond and to take care of what they need to take care of. If you're $130 short, and I think, thankfully, I'm not in that position, but at one point in my life I was. If there would have been $100 missing out of my monthly income, that would have made missing rent, not do. I mean, that would have been like a whole trigger of things that end up leaving somebody homeless, for crying out loud. If you're $100 short, the fees that hit you, I mean, and I'm talking 25 years ago when it would have affected me, it triggers in my brain a series of events that would dramatically impact somebody with a disability if that Medicare premium isn't covered. So my hat's off to Cindy, my hat's off to the SILC. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, John. Any other public comment? Going once.
Hi, this is Dee Dee Formaster again. I just want to express the extreme need for our vigilance in regards to us being ignored in the future. And nobody is going to speak up for us. We have to do it ourselves. And John's right. If we're not there to advocate, to make things better for the disabled community, and to insist that we are not invisible, nobody else is going to do it but us. So please stay vigilant in your communities. And thank you and for everybody's hard work, and happy holidays to everyone. Thanks.
Any other public comment? Before we adjourn, I too would like to thank everybody for making time in your busy schedules to attend. Happy holidays. And adjourn this meeting.